Good morning. Good morning. How are you? I'm good. I'm good. It's another day I got to see. I feel blessed. I feel honored. I feel at peace. I feel like I'm not going to quit because that is today's subject quit. I'm happy. I'm happy. I have a lot going on, but I'm just content in what God has given me to do, what is going to be my special for today, whatever that is. What are my to-dos, what are on my list, what must I be, just honest about wanting to do, needing to do, all those kind of things. How wise am I going to be with carrying out anything I've decided to quit on? Because sometimes we're not always wise. We quit before we get started, or we never get started, so therefore we already quit. So those are the kinds of things that we really want to discuss today. I'm just hoping that when you come in, just sign in and tell me not just good morning, but how are you doing? I'm fine today. I'm happy today. I'm not quitting anything today. I got things to do today. Whatever it is, write it down so we can try to start using this area of our space to just say that the day is going to be good. Good morning, Veronica. Good morning, T. Good morning, Miss Joan. Glad you're all coming into this space with me. Just happy about what is happening in my life, that I'm at an age where I can decide when I want to do something and when I do not want to do something, when I want to sit on it or quit on it or get excited on it and rev it back up, because not everything that we quit should we stay. Good morning, Michelle. How are you? We don't want to just quit on things that we still can work at. And so that's the point of my discussion. I'm going to ask you this question that I ask every morning. Are you stuck? Periodically, we're all going to get stuck with everything. We're going to get stuck. Good morning, Shayla, my niece in New York. We're going to get stuck on people, on positions, on playtime, on just so many things that constantly put us in what I consider a position of proneness, a position of somebody pouncing on us for something that we have done, or excuse me, we haven't done. So today we are going to talk about quit. And some of us have quit on so many things before we ever started out doing them. Or we've quit on really living our lives even though we're in pandemic. Don't do it. Find something that makes you happy. Good morning, Laurie. Good morning, Claudine. Find something that makes you happy, makes you pleased with who you are, regardless of what situation we're in. We still have to live our lives until we leave up out of here. And so my excitement is that you're here and that you may hear something that I have to say that gives you some, what I call some resources to just say life is still good. Life is good. I can, even though I can't go outside my house as much as I'm used to and hang out with as many people as I used to, I still have not given up. I still have not quit on some of the things I know I like to do. I can be social, but I can be distant. I can see somebody that's a close family friend or something, but we're not close, in terms of next to each other. They're over there, I'm over here. They're masked up, I'm masked up. I'm washing my hands. I'm doing what I can to try to stay free. And now, since I'm starting to see that there's a few people that I know that have been become victims of this virus to go on to their death, I'm concerned about eventually will we not all get it? Eventually will we not all be exposed to it? And some of us, our systems are better than others to fight it off. The virus is serious. It's an insidious disease, and in our lifetime, we've not seen it. So let's talk about don't quit. And as I do, I always go get a poem, and today's poem is "Don't Quit" by it is by John Greenleaf Whitler, And good morning, Lamel. Good morning, Claydine. So anyway, it really gets down to what I call good stuff. It says, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer in its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a failure turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed when another blow. Often the goal is nearer than it seems to a faint and faulting man. Often the struggler has given up when he might have captured the victor's cup. And he learned too late when the night slipped down how close he was to the golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. It may be near when it seems so far, so stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. This is a not quit session. I don't want you to quit. I don't feel it's necessary to quit. I feel, if anything, this is the time to succeed. Sometimes when we have great pause like this is, when we have great opportunity to sit and do nothing but think about what's ahead, we need to be in a planning stage. We need to be in a me stage that maybe eventually will touch some yous out there. But we need to be in a stage that says that we are on top of everything we can be on top of. And if we do it that way, it's going to be so special. It's going to be so special. When you get out of pandemic and you look at what you've accomplished, you can say, thank you, God. You can say, thank you, for giving me my mind, my constitution to not quit, because quitting is easy. Good morning, Miss Rosie. Good morning, Lamel. Good morning, everybody that came in while I was running my mouth. But anyway, we're going to discuss quit. I don't want you to quit on anything. I'm hoping that you don't quit on me and you keep coming every day. And maybe push the numbers up and share this. This is free information. I'm helping myself as I'm helping anybody else that comes into my space. It's never been about me. It's always been about what me can do for you. And I try to give it through my heart. I try to give it through any things I plan for you, any things I'm involved with you on. I try. And sometimes things may still fall through the cracks, but guess what? I'm an honest person. I'm never going to let anything go against the grain of who I am. I'm not going to do it. And I love you for that. I really do. Somebody keeps sending me little notes. I'm going to push it down to the bottom. Okay, so when we talk about quit, to quit something is to cease from doing something, to stop it. It says to give it, to give it up or to resign from it. Sometimes we have to do that. Good morning, everybody that came in. Sean, I see you. It says it's good to leave something and stop trying something. That's all what quit is. And sometimes we have to quit jobs. We have to quit people, relationships. We have to quit friends. We have to quit projects. We have to quit a lot of things, but we need to know why we're quitting them. What's the reason behind it? And are you okay with it? Are you okay with it? So when we quit something, we're going to let it go away. We're going to leave it alone. We're going to vacate it. We're going to abandon it. We're going to desert it. We're going to depart from it. We're going to stop trying. We're not even going to do it anymore. We're not. I know Juanita and Sean are there. I just kidding. Anyway, so we want that. That's what we're looking for. Those are all the things it talks about what quitting does. So when we quit something, should we feel bad about it? At first, we need to feel what we feel, because sometimes quitting something is painful. Sometimes quitting something is just the opposite of that. It's delightful. You feel freed because you gave it up. And sometimes you're right in the middle. You're torn. You don't know if it was good or bad, if it was right or wrong. You just know you're standing there because you quit something that maybe you had to quit, but you weren't sure that you had to quit it. Good morning, Ro. You weren't sure you needed to quit something. But guess what? I don't think anything happens that's not supposed to happen. That's what I believe. So sometimes when you quit something, you may quit it initially by not working on it. And then you may quit it totally by never going back to it. Never. Okay, it ceased. Okay, done. Stopped. Not even involved anymore. That is true quitting. Okay, you stop dealing with it. So anyway, I'm going to break the word down. So when we start with quit, the cue of quit is quiet. Everything becomes silenced on something. No conversation, no involvement, no phone calls, no traveling, no project, no assignments, nothing. You quit. Okay? It becomes quiet on that subject, on that person, on that situation. It becomes quiet. And so it says quiet is there's little or no noise about it. Nothing's going on. It says it becomes silent, stilled, hushed, okay, noiseless. I like that right there. Noiseless, soundless, mute, speechless, voiceless, lowered, muffled, and inaudible. All those things speak to what quitting something does to the quietness that comes over it after we've quit it. There's nothing going on about it. Nobody's going to ask you about it. And if you do, you look at them like, done. You may have one word. You may have two or three. I am done. You never know. But the silence around something or somebody, some situation, that's you. That's how you've gone with it. And sometimes we need to be silent because discussing it pulls us back in. Okay? Brings it back up. I know somebody's brought up something and conjures up a little feeling that you have. Could be about an old flame. Could be about a job you didn't get. Something. And it stirs it up. It stirs up that uneasiness. It stirs up that what I call that thing that makes you sad or makes you anxious or makes you incomplete. Because sometimes when we haven't completed something, we feel incomplete or we feel defeated. We feel defeated about things that we've sometimes had to leave. But I say if you get down to the core of why you did not finish it or why you quit going back to it or dealing with it at all, that will give you your resolve. That will give you your peace. Now that's counseling stuff talking to you right there. That's what my background is. That's counseling. Just realize why you let something go. Why you stop dealing with it. Good morning, Miss Irish. Why you stop dealing with something and the importance of it. Because sometimes when we quit something, we may have gotten the physical reason, but never dealt with the mental aspect of why we quit something. But guess what? There's always a reason. It was too complicated. People, situations, a job, not paying enough money. Again, not paying enough money, not giving enough acknowledgement. And, we talked about that, doing something and not always being recognized for it. That sometimes those things happen. And sometimes that's what I said. When you do something, you have to understand you're doing and understand that other people may not appreciate you're doing it, just being in a period of expecting you to do it. Why? Because you do. Because you get it done. Okay, that's what we talked about yesterday. So anyway, when stuff goes quiet, that means it needed to. You were done with it. You were done with it. And that's okay. That's okay. So when we go down further, we talk about the you. The you of quit. Oh, thank you so much, Miss OJ. The you of quit talks about unattached. Come on now. The man upstairs was speaking to me when I came up with this that he gave me. Okay? unattached. When you quit something, you are unattached. You're no longer attached to it. And as I said, some things sometimes can trigger us to want to go back to what became or once was routine. Sometimes routine will keep us doing the same thing day after day, week after week, year after year. And then we wake up one day and say, what in the world? What happened? 20 years at this, 20 years in this with marriage, 10 years in this job. Still have not moved off of what I started with salary wise. Okay? Sometimes you don't realize that the move needs to be the move. The move needs to be that I've made it. I needed to quit dealing with that. And the only way you can know if you're unattached to it is you watch this. It says it's not working for or belonging to a particular body or organization or a thing or situation, meaning you're done with it, no longer attached to it. It says you are uncommitted. You are self-governing and not being governed by somebody else. You are self-ruling and not being ruled by a person, a thing, a project, a situation. You are unconnected, totally detached from the situation, from the person, from the event, from whatever that's going on. You are not there. It is not yours. You've unattached from it. I always used to think about people that lived so far out into the country. And I said, wow, I couldn't live like that. But guess what? If that's my orientation, I could. But it's not been my orientation so far. Now, to me, living out in the country has you like that in your house right now. If you're really practicing safe social distancing, you are like being isolated, being unattached. And so our world is only attached now through, some kind of video or Zoom or Google meetings or whatever it is. Or we might be getting just our news feed from the TV or from the internet in some source, YouTube or whatever. But we're connected to the world socially if we want to be. Okay. Now, people that obviously live in some of the rural towns. In fact, I saw that yesterday on TV, that there's some people who, prior to the pandemic, they were already dealing with the issue of, not having high-speed internet. And, many inner city people, who may not have the means to do it, do not have high-speed internet. So to me, I cannot imagine trying to get my child's education, either sending them into the school, which they may not be prepared for in terms of, just a mask and knowing that germs, travel so easily with people that are talking and laughing and carrying on their lives. They're not paying any attention to what's going on. So to me, that would be a concern. But also being inner city and not having access to having a second option. The second option is to teach the children from them being in their own homes. But if they don't have a laptop, that's a concern. They are detached. They are unattached from what else is going on. So there's great concern to me going on. And as an educator, I would certainly be concerned to go back into a classroom. Or for me, I had private sessions as a group facilitator and also a counselor. So, closed quarters. And we always had those offices that were like 2x4. You were just barely in there and you could touch the walls on each side. So you all know what I'm talking about in terms of closeness. So you're in a close situation, close quarters, that would be certainly rough. But anyway, to be unattached is to be away from what else is going on. What I've committed to, I've quit it. And sometimes the quitting is not because you don't want to. It's because you can't. Okay? You can't start anything that you have no way of accessing. So that would be another form of, it's voluntary, it's involuntary quitting. You can't do it. You cannot do it. Good morning, Marion. You can't do it if you've never been involved in it. So the next area of quit is to isolate. And once again, I've broken the word down, and isolate really deals with a person or thing that has been or become isolated, meaning no longer necessarily accessible to people, things, situations, anything. Or it could be self-done, meaning that they isolated themselves from being a part of something that they already quit. And I know I've been in some clubs, and when it started out, there was just so many people, and once, after a while, after the same thing went on, and maybe people became somewhat, kind of not willing to be a part of it anymore, some things went down, they quit. And you would see it where you constantly see new people. It would generate new people, but anytime you can't sometimes keep your history and sustain your base, then there might be a problem. There might be a problem. So I look at those kinds of things. But to be isolated is to separate from another substance, or as often as can be, to be freed from a situation or people or whatever. It says to dissolve, into isolation, to be solitary, to be somewhat like a hermit, to be detached, to be secluded, to be quarantined, to be cut off. Is that not what some of us are going through right now? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So it may be very difficult to understand that we were involuntarily told to quit doing some things. Okay? Quit going out socializing, quit having parties, quit going to bars, quit eating in restaurants. There were some things that we were told that we must quit. We must quit. Okay, I take heed, so I'm going to do what they tell me to do. Because, as I said, I do know some people that have been affected by this. Good morning, Cassandra. Good morning, Vivian. So when you look at the consequences of not sometimes isolating yourself and not unattaching yourself and not quitting, you realize we put ourselves in a very vulnerable situation. And sometimes quitting is not always bad. Okay, sometimes we have to quit for our own good, to keep our mind right, to keep our heart right, to keep going forward, to keep going forward. And sometimes we can't do it because we're consumed by people. We're consumed by somebody that is dominant over us, or the project is bigger than us, bigger than what we feel we can handle. Too much work, too much involved in it. And sometimes when it's time for you to quit, you just need to quit and handle the consequences of quitting. Okay, less money. Okay, more time on your hand. Is that not a positive? It is. It is. If you know what to do with it, So I take everything that's a negative and I try to turn it into a positive. So if I have to quit something, that means I already had something else I was planning on doing anyway, or was calling for my attention, therefore being needed to work on. That's what it would be. And so to really look at all those things, it talks about what isolation does and what being unattached does and being quiet. All those speak to how we can quit. I say you can quit with dignity, okay? You can give them 2 weeks if you want to, if you like them well enough. But if you stayed there 20 years and you're not planning on going back, you can leave tomorrow, all right, and not feel bad, especially if they never did anything for you in the first place. Same thing with relationships. If you stayed too long at the fair and the merry-go-round stopped going around and the slide, stop allowing people to slide all the way down, got you stuck someplace in the middle, or you're up in the Ferris wheel and you're in the top bucket. All those are, pardon me, hell no's. Quit. I want to get down. I want to get off. I want to do something else that's more beneficial to my health, my mental health, my heart health, my friend of me health, because sometimes we don't friend ourselves well. We stay and stay and stay, and by the time we really get home, we're too tired. Or, and I've seen this so many times too, is that people have given 90% of their lives to a job, and when they retire because they stayed so long, they come home and they pass away. So what I'm saying to you is live your life. Quit the things you need to quit find the resources as to what can help you, resolve the issues that led up to the quitting, and then understand what the quitting was all about. And there is your solution. There's your resolution right there. Soon as you find out, I needed to quit that job. I needed to quit that guy. I needed to quit that woman. I need it. Sometimes we're afraid to commit to ourselves what we need to do. But sometimes quitting is just that. Bam, had to do it. Quit. See you next life. Done with it. Okay? And last thing, to quit, the word T, the letter T is for terminate. Now, where this stuff comes, I don't know. Okay, I just sit down and terminate. Think about it. I always think about the Terminator. He would always say he'd be back. Listen, I would call the Terminex people back if I think they haven't done right. Okay? Because if you're going to use terminate, that means final. That means I shouldn't be seeing something. I shouldn't be seeing anything. Okay? So to terminate is to bring to an end. It's done. You close the case. It's discontinued. You've plugged out of it. Okay? You've aborted it. You finished it. You stopped it. You axed it. And you moved on. All that says terminate. And sometimes we don't terminate well. We keep coming back. We say, well, I'm done. I'm done. Say something to you. They call you up. They send you a flower. You back in it. Okay? Sometimes terminations may take a while to really get what I call the guts to do it. Okay? My mother used to always say, stand on your twos. When you stand on your twos, she's talking about stand up straight, tell them what you got to tell them and move on. Sometimes that's very difficult. Sometimes we have great difficulty with telling people what we really need to tell them. It's just us because our personality is in the mix. Some people could tell you off and it not be anything. No big deal. You needed to hear this. Glad you waited for the story. So, and it's good. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, everybody that's saying little things there. The good subject, and I'm trying to make it powerful because I think this stuff. I'm not telling you anything that I wouldn't do for myself or I haven't thought about for myself. Sometimes getting out of things is very difficult. When you've committed to something or someone for a long time, projects, people, places, whatever, all the P's that you can come up with. Then you get pissed if you have to tell them, I can't do it anymore. Excuse me, sometimes they get pissed. It's okay. It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Let it be. As they say, let it be. So to quit something really speaks to, can we be quiet about it? Can we let it go? Can we terminate it? Can we be isolated from it? And certainly, can we unattach ourselves to it? Can we? Those are all questions. Those are good questions. So anyway, here's some more questions. Hope you got a pen and paper. And I'm hoping that you will share this video, put it out there in the stream, and let God work it out. Oh, and while you're getting your pen and paper, I'm just going to say I've answered a lot of your inquiries about the book. If you want a book, just let me know. I still think I have about 25 signed copies, and I ordered a big shipment, so they're just about gone. So I'm really excited for what the Lord is doing. And if you told me to save your book, I have it saved. If you want one, just send me a message through Messenger, and I will certainly send it to you. And I was trying to pay this shipment fee until I went and sent off a big shipment of books on Monday, and it ended up being so expensive that I'm going to have to turn that over to my folks that are ordering books. I can't afford it. I'd be broke, big time. But I just appreciate all of you who have bought books and are interested in doing some more with that. And if you think of some creative ideas where I can come and help out by Zooming or something for your church and advertise the book, because this is an ad. I certainly would be interested in doing that with Mr. Al. Okay, so here's the questions. Be honest. What have you quit? What have you actually quit? Was it a job? Was it a marriage? Was it a relationship for 90 years? Was it a project you were a part of? What have you quit? Be honest, because sometimes we're not that honest because we're still in it. So we don't want to tell them. We don't want to even say the word quit associated with something or somebody. Good morning, James. And so we don't say what really is going on, but something is going on. If you quit something, what was the reason? What did you do? What did you quit? And question number 2, are you quiet and ashamed about something that you quit? Or have you been quiet? That means it's silence. Okay, ain't nothing going on about something that you've quit. Or are you ashamed about it? Sometimes people want to shame us if it were ever brought up. Well, I don't know why you quit that person. They were a good person. They didn't know him. I tell you, when I was a counselor, people used to come in my office and, one of them would be an officer. The other one would be also an officer, but of a lesser grade. And they would show out. About, their superiority, their rank, their whatever. But sometimes you have to pay attention. The people that constantly want all the attention are also the ones who have some issues with confidence. Something's going on. So, just saying, have you quit something that you feel ashamed of? Why? Because they make you feel ashamed, or the fact that you didn't finish makes you ashamed? What? Question number 3, can you easily unattach yourself from people and places and things? Can you easily unattach yourself? Yes? No? Sometimes to unattach yourself from things, is very difficult. Like I'm in the process of writing another book when I finish Mr. Al's second book. And that's the book I was originally working on, which was my book called, it's a book for parents of adult children. And it says, we, meaning we parents, don't owe you, shh. And it doesn't necessarily say the whole word. It just says SH and then there's a line. So it could be sugar mama, whatever you want to put in there. But we don't, we don't owe anybody anything. Okay, we don't, But sometimes we think we do. And if it's your children, we always see them as if they're still a baby, even though they got, hair, mustache, lipstick, high heels. We still see them as if they might be a baby, and we're carrying them around our arms. Well, those are the ties of the heart. Sometimes you have to untie the heart long enough to get the head involved, and then you say, look, I don't owe you nothing. I've done all I can do. I've done all that I can do. But anyway, the next question is, has isolating an idea, a project, or a person been daunting to you? Meaning isolating from, meaning pulling back from somebody, some things, some situations. Has that been a daunting task for you? Has it? And people that are needy will bug you to death, okay? Even when you've already said hello at 10 o'clock, 10:15, what you doing? We just had this conversation 15 minutes ago. I can't get anything done, So the dependency for some people on you may be great. So is that a daunting task for you? Answer the question. It could be. And some people, they're just a matter of fact, don't bother me. I got something else to do. They just put their phone on silent. They can't hear it, that they're calling. And I don't know, that kind of what I call GPSing on me, I don't like it. It never sat well when I was married, when my husband was living. What time you coming home? Excuse me? You go out and stay all night. You asking me what time I come home? Please, it certainly would be of a decent hour because, you're not going to do anything for our daughter. So I got to get home and get it done. So I'll be there, okay? You only had to pick her up from daycare today. He didn't know that all I was doing was going shopping for groceries. There you go. It was an assumption. Okay, the last question is, was terminating a project, a friendship, a loveship troubling? Is it still troubling? Are you still bothered by something you've done in your past where you just said, enough is enough. I'm terminating this thing. It's over. I am done. For some people, that's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. They cannot do it. Every time the person calls, even if they don't want to be bothered, they engage the conversation with them. They are engaged in a conversation. And a lot of times the conversation leads to, okay, so let's do this, let's do that. So sometimes termination means that you really have to sever the ties. You really have to cut off the what I would call the vocal coaching, the vocal encouragement, or even it could be the texting encouragement. I see you at 9. No, I'm going to sleep. Don't bother me. Okay, or I got something else to do. I'm going downtown. I have a project that I have to go, and I have to be in person. And so sometimes you just have to know what you're terminating, and if it's troubling to you, if something is daunting to you, if something is making you ashamed, or if something is just an overall looming concern. Those are all the concerns. But anyway, today's session on quit just speaks to, hey, what must I do? What must I do? It's a personal choice of what you quit. It's a personal choice if you choose to stay in stuff. It's a personal choice if you continue to be attached to things you should unattach yourself to. It's a personal choice if you continue to want to be involved with something that you should have terminated a long time ago. Okay, it's a personal choice if you decide to continue to give a lot of wind and discussion to things that you need to allow to remain quiet. And it's a personal choice if you decide that you're not going to isolate yourself from something or somebody or some situation because you think you're helping them. What I want you to do, my Are You Stuck really talks about helping yourself. It's a help yourself program that I developed years ago. So I'm just saying, help yourself. If you know you need to get back and quit on some things and step back and find your own, what I call your own quiet, your own peace, your own love, your own concern for self, do it. Don't wait on anybody else. Just know who you are. I love you. I want you to have a great day. I want you to come on in this space with me tomorrow, and we'll certainly do the same thing on making sure that whatever I come up with, it's been given. It's been given, and I'm going to speak on it. I love you. I love you. I love you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.